continue with the question. Yes. So, I was going to give you the question, and you and Hila the same question. But before that, I'd just like to say, Anna, Nikita, and Rajni, they're a part of Indian Women Institutional League that is incubating a lot of women that we are running here in India. As I said, 25,000 women are running. So I'm very proud that Rajni is also part of our ecosystem, and so is Nikita doing the sustainability startup. Coming to you, Rachna. If you see, IT, we're talking, this forum is about IT. So when we say cloud, and you're doing software, you're doing a software business. So when we say IT, cloud, data centers, software customization, there are a lot of innovations that are coming in. Cloud is innovating, new applications are coming, new collaborative tools are coming for teams to work across. And COVID has changed the denomination of these collaborative cultures. Like, Anath is sitting and, Ronnie is sitting here, and we're thinking that they're just in the next room. How do you see this virtual highway evolving? How do you see the digital transformation practices impacting us, and how we could collaborate in this forum for a meaningful outcome?
So again, I think a lot of encouragement to ensure that women are able to break glass ceilings within organizations, right? That needs to happen. Ensure that women get back to work. They don't drop out when they have babies, right? We have this program at Credit Watch where we do a hackathon, a 24-hour hackathon, and all working moms participate. And we usually hire, our top engineers actually from this hackathon. In fact, some of my leading machine learning engineers are women who took a break for 4 to 5 years, and they won these hackathons, not only these, but many across the country. And they're leading tech positions in my company today. So the second thing is to kind of encourage entrepreneurship, because they could become entrepreneurs of the future, right? And that's something I think that would work. And the third thing is also to have diversity of investors who are able to, support female founders. We have a very small percentage of startups that are funded, very well funded by top VCs, which are led by women. And I think that, building an ecosystem of investors, male and female, to support the entrepreneurship ecosystem and to support women, I think would be the third step that we would need to encourage this. And of course, if there are lessons we can learn from Israel in terms of how we've built the ecosystem there, and those lessons we could implement in here, that would be a good way to understand how things are being done elsewhere.
Yeah, okay, that's very insightful, Meghna. And I particularly loved your empathy design thinking component. Now, that is, we as, sometimes most startups, this is one subject that's going to get focused in the next 4 or 5 years. And then thank you for your input. Here's something, talking about education. Rajni, I would want you to come in,
Yeah, surely.
Yeah. So we will see transformational reforms in higher education policies. Now you see that Modi ji has done new education policy that has come, which is more focused on skill building and vocational training in India.
Yeah.
How do you think we could leverage it for communities, startups, corporations as we build our academia? And how can we jointly leverage it? This is my thought. Why don't you?
So Deepa, first of all, thank you very much for this wonderful question and for inviting me for this wonderful session and to meet all lovely people or knowledgeable people. And to answer your question, I believe that recently I was watching Prime Minister Modi's speech. Am I audible? Am I audible to all?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So while watching Prime Minister Modi's speech, where he said that till now the Indian education system was focused on what to think, but the new education policy focuses on how to think. So I think this very transition from what to think to how to think itself would become base for various vistas, avenues for potential collaboration, where both countries can seek various collaborations, especially in education. So for instance, if we look at the broader picture of this education policy, we would find that it encompasses the vision where we see that at least half of our youngsters by in next 5 years, they should be able to have at least one vocational degree in their life, right? At least they should have exposure to one vocational training. At the same time, recently, we have allowed 100 top universities to establish their campuses in our country. So I think if we look at the broader picture, we see there's a huge, huge scope to collaborate as far as universities are concerned. Just imagine a worldwide known Tel Aviv University establishes its campus in India. So definitely our students would not only enhance their quality, their knowledge, international perspective, they would get immense exposure in terms of learning as well. So I believe such initiatives, such policy points, they help us a lot to form potential collaboration with Israel. That's what I believe, Deepa.
Rajni, just to add to what you said, you spoke about Tel Aviv University. It's a great idea. And I think that Tel Aviv was looking at having some campus in India, but the MBA program in Tel Aviv, which is the international MBA, has a special scholarship for Indian entrepreneurs.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful. That's great.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I think that next time they'll open the program with the scholarship, I will share it with you and circulate it to your members, because it's a really great program, and already few women entrepreneurs joined this program from India.
Surely, we would love to do that.
That's where the small exchange starts.
Wow, this is amazing.
Rajni, where are you based in India?
I'm based in Pune, very close to Mumbai, Pune, yeah.
Okay, so that's wonderful. So we now know that we have a women entrepreneurs, funded programs that are running, and we could have a university that could, really incubate women entrepreneurs. That's wonderful. So just like this, just to give you some insights, of the 58.5 million entrepreneurs in India, nearly 14% are women. That is the beauty. And Indian women-owned businesses provide employment for 13.45 million people. The ripple effect. So women hire women. That is, catalyst. Interestingly, another thing that I've found out, and even we heard in the main event, Tel Aviv is placed on the 5th city with the highest percentage of businesses included by women, stats from 2015. Highest tele-density of startup ventures next to Silicon Valley. Wow is the word, So that is the reason that we have such high respect and regard. This is so amazing in the entrepreneurship community for digital innovation, for tech innovation that you're doing, IoT, AI-based incubation. Wow is the word. So this question comes to Anat. Forbes chose Israel for the first Global Women Summit in 2019. Okay. That sets a precedence in women leadership and appreciation across the globe as to how women are appreciated, and accepted in the startup ecosystem. What lessons and key takeaways would you want to give us as a community? Now we have to learn. There's so many things, and this is just a matter that we need to know.
I don't want to disappoint you, but I don't feel that we reached the place we want to be, women in Israel, okay? I don't feel that yet that the glass ceiling was broken like in the US. We do have reserved seats in the board of public companies for women, but it's problematic, because then the shareholders say, okay, the women's seat is already occupied, no need to bring more. So I cannot tell you that I'm happy.
Correct.
Okay, so maybe when we look internationally, yes, it's better than some other countries, but we are
still facing challenges.
We have a way to go. And I think that those kind of interactions that we do, this is the edge that we can get, in a sense that Hani and Ila, when they talk to each other, or Meghna, gives us informal ability to do business. I don't think that men has this ability to chit chat and then talk business. And we have less ego, so it's very easy to do business. And now I'm sure that I'll approach each of you and seek how we can do something together. And that's the benefit of having this women collaboration. But in Israel, of course, there are equal rights and equal opportunity, and all the ecosystem is there. But still, we blame men to bring men. As I mentioned before, the male camaraderie, okay? Yes. Men invite their friends to the boards, okay? Women ask too many questions. We are too good. I have been in a board, and I know when I ask questions, they said, it's okay, it's okay. And I said, no, give me an answer. So we are more diligent, and sometimes it creates a problem. So we need to bring our friends to where we are. And for example, in conference that I do, not just women conference, I'm making sure that there are almost equal speakers. This is the basic. I mean, there is a group here called Supersonas. It's a very interesting concept. Whenever there is a notification of a conference, they count how many women speakers are in the conference, how many men, and they approach the organizer, say, why there's so less women in this conference. And they have a depository of speakers, and they said, go to our depository and you can see that there are enough speakers in the topic you want. Why you choose only the same people all the time? So this is again something that maybe Flo, and I'll bring it up, can create a depository of women speakers for all the conference. And I see in India that the situation is as bad as in Israel in that sense. Look at the conferences that you have. Maybe one woman, let's say that 10% of the speakers in Indian conferences are women. And that's a pity, but it's also here. And I'm fighting it. And I'm sure that we are able to progress, but it's way from being enough.
That's very, very insightful, and I'll tell you something. We went to the GES summit in 2018 to Washington and Boston, wherein we met people like Vinod Khosla, who was celebrated as VCs. And we also met 2 or 3 women who are, running women accelerator programs and incubation programs. They still complain to us that it is very difficult for a woman to make that mark, as I synergize with what you're saying. And yes, funding is again a challenge for them. So in US, which is like far advanced as compared to, it's a developed economy, women face challenges when it comes to funding and getting heard. So I met a lot of women on the GS Summit last 2 years ago. Very insightful. But coming to this, I would want you to, Nikita comes from a sustainability background. She has a very different kind of startup that focuses on cycling in different cities. Nikita, are you there?
Yes. Hi.
When you say, Nikita, I'm sure social entrepreneurship is a key component in sustainability, right?
Right.
I'm sure Israel has a focus on sustainability. And how is it that we mutually create a better impact in this sector? How do you think we can collaborate? Coming from your perspective as a woman entrepreneur, what collaboration opportunities do you see that you can, build something which synergizes your advantage?
Yes.
Hi. What is
Yes.
the cycling cities? What is your venture?
Yes. Hi, Annette. We through cycling cities, we are trying to get more people to use cycle for commute as well, other than fitness. And there in India, cycle is either seen as a poor man's vehicle or it is seen as a fitness or sports. If we talk about 2 decades back, cycle was a mainstream thing where people were riding, vehicles were still not there. So now the priority is becoming motorized vehicles, and cycles are not seen in the traffic, but only in the morning hours for fitness. So we are trying to get more people to use cycles because still average 50% of our commute trips in India are less than 5 kilometers, which are very much doable by bicycle. And I've heard a lot about Israel. There are some good electric and normal cycle sharing startups which are working very nicely in Israel. And sadly, in India and in fact China, these kind of startups have not seen good fate, and they have shut down. Like the business model has not worked very well. So I believe that the sustainability focus which is there in Israel, India is right now in the consumption mode. So the consumption is going very high. I mean, we'll definitely reach to sustainability mode little later. So being a very populous country like India and China, both we are going to have more waste and more pollution with more people. Right now, only 2% of people use cars in India. Still, we have clogged streets in all metros and tier 2 cities. We have traffic jams. we have 8 or 10 polluted cities out of 20 polluted cities across the world. So the situation is already bad when we have just 2% of people using cars and motorized vehicles. So I think we have to somewhere, begin bringing sustainable transport choices and bring that focus here. But somehow it is not even in the agenda of government, and not very much picked up by people, because somehow the business models are not very positive. And these kind of cycle sharing startups have also shut down in India. The ones which came from China also shut down. And yeah, I mean, the situation seems little bit improving. During pandemic, a lot of people picked up cycling for fitness, and also some people are using for commute, but still there's a long way to go. So I believe there is a good bridge we can have, and we can learn from you how you have built sustainable startups in this space, and how the focus on sustainability can be like there can be good knowledge sharing on that front for us, how we can make more robust and sustainable business models around this.
Nikita, where are you from in India?
Ahmedabad, in Gujarat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Elaine, any of the startups that you're handling, you have mobility startups in the cycling space?
Yes. So we're really strong and looking for mobility startups. We actually had a mobility special program, so we send them over to Detroit, which was our startup program for mobility. But I urge all mobility startups to now come to Israel, because I see there's a great demand for mobility startups here in Israel, and I think they can learn a lot from the Israeli ecosystem.
Thank you, Nikita. Ronnie Edidla Klein, our DCM from the Israeli embassy in India, joined us now. Hi, Ronnie, welcome.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hi, thank you. Sorry I couldn't be here earlier. It's just things, even with COVID, we're working very hard these days at the Israeli embassy in New Delhi and meeting people. And so I had a day full of meetings, and I'm happy to be here now.
Wonderful.
Ronnie was part of our September 2019 session. She actually moderated the event, so she has very warm feelings to our forum. I'm talking on your behalf, Ronnie.
I do indeed. Go right ahead.
Why don't we do a quick round of introduction to Ronnie? So, Rachna, you hardly spoke till now.
Yeah, so that is that is a question that is coming later, but then please, Rachna. And if you want, I can give you a question. You may introduce yourselves and I'll give you a question too.
Myself, I'm Dr. Rachna Gemawat. I'm the owner and director of the Gateway Group of Companies. We are based in Ahmedabad, and we have our headquarters in India and in Netherlands. And we work in about, we have a work experience of 2 decades, and we work for 20 plus Fortune 500 countries, customers, sorry. And we have about 300 employees in Europe and 1,500 plus employees in India. So that's a bit about our company. And Deepa, you could continue with your question.
Yes. So, I was going to give you the question, and you and Hila the same question. But before that, I'd just like to say, Anna, Nikita and Rajat, they're a part of Indian Women Institutional League that is incubating a lot of women that we are running here in India. As I said, 25,000 women are running. So I'm very proud that Rachni is also a part of our ecosystem, and so is Nikita doing the sustainability startup. Coming to you, Rachna, if you see, IT, we are talking, this forum is about IT. So when we say cloud and you're doing software, you're doing a software business. So when we say IT, cloud, data centers, software customization, there are a lot of innovations that are coming in. Cloud is innovating, new applications are coming, new collaborative tools are coming for teams to work across. And COVID has changed the denomination of these collaborative cultures. Like, Anath is sitting and, Ronnie is sitting here, and we're thinking that they're just in the next room. How do you see this virtual highway evolving? How do you see the digital transformation practices impacting us, and how we could collaborate in this forum for a meaningful outcome?
You can say that as India, we have a strength in various fields, and we address a wide spectrum of tech and industry verticals. If you look at India per se, okay, and when you see India, it is always at the forefront. People look at India as a top destination when they want to do something in technology or when they want to get some successful innovations developed and designed. At the same time, India is a country where we can keep our costs and risk in control. So the way I can see the collaboration happening between the two countries is that if Israel needs access to global markets, which India has very well formed, or it looks for a talent pool, which India also has, looking at the population and looking at the way the tech is, you look at India and everyone will say that we are a tech country, so it could work two ways. We could give them a go-to-market relationship, or they could come to us for looking at talent or looking at ways how we can build up successful innovations, or we can collaborate, we can invest. It could work in either ways. It could be a win-win for both the countries. That's what I feel.
Wonderful. Now that is something very interesting point. And Hani, I'll bring you in here. So Rachna says innovation centers. I think it's a great idea to set up an innovation or a thought leadership center on both the sides to take this forward when we're looking at IT innovation in particular. What do you think, Anath? And what do you think, Hani? I would really love to, each of you to give your thoughts on this.
Definitely. So innovation centers is very important. We have seen, startup ecosystem change so dramatically within the recent years, where there are a lot of opportunities because of the increasing opportunities like incubators, accelerators, events, competitions, hackathons like Meghna and Rajni mentioned, academic programs, etc. So the diversity that we are seeing, with more and more women entrepreneurs coming in the startup ecosystem is very interesting. So that's where what we are, trying to bridge a gap with this collaboration.
And Anath, what would be your thoughts on setting up this? This is I think this is very pivotal, setting up an innovation center across both the sides. What do you say?
I think that Ronnie will be able to add to what I want to say. In agriculture, Israel's started excellence centers in which we showcase the Israeli agri-tech in various fields in Israel, in various territories. Same can apply here. I mean, Excellence Center should not be limited only to agriculture. We can also take it to IT, to health, to other areas of interest. And the Innovation Center can be a center that says, okay, this is what Israel can do, what India needs, and work on adaptation. Ronnie, if you can elaborate on the excellence centers that we have and learn from our experience in agriculture to take it to other areas of interest.
We have 29 excellence centers all around the country, and at least 3 more are just now being built, and they will be added to that, and there's more in the planning. So we anticipate having close to 40 excellence centers within the next few years. And at those excellence centers, we concentrate each center on 1 or maximum 2 different types of products.
Absolutely. That's so insightful. And I really love the fact that you mentioned about the agri-tech and what innovation you're planning with the milk and other things. We've had examples of startups in states in Himachal where people are using IoT technology to fencing, for farm fencing. So anyways, the clock's ticking, but we have 5 more minutes, and I'd like to bring Hila, because she hasn't spoken for a very long time. Hila, we must resolute to carry forward this baton of diversity in leadership, in entrepreneurship. The choices that we make today would influence future in a big way. Virtual collaborations, exchange programs, innovation centers. What are the bulleted points, the key takeaways that you take from here today? Towards a meeting.
Wow. First of all, I'm so privileged to be here. Again, I say, and I'm speaking on behalf of so many female founders that I represent, which of course I'm going to convey my inspiration. And I really hope that this could be a bridge to many, many great things. So again, thank you for that. like I said, the Yazamiyot is very active in collaboration with so many different organizations, and I hope that we can really bridge this and bring as many female founders over. As far as Techstars is concerned, I think we've had one Indian company already in the last cohort, and I'm looking to really my dream to have more Indian companies over in Tel Aviv. So if you know any of them, on the Techstars website, it's very easy to apply. Send entrepreneurs my way, especially female founders, because we'd like to invest in them at a very early stage. And as far as Israeli companies and startups that I meet, a lot of deal flow in Israeli companies, I think it's about educating them to actually not go into the nearest markets, which is Europe and the very trivial one, but to actually try something new and get this huge market with so much data. You know, the company that we invested in, Cred, was a fintech company. You talked about processing, etc. So my takeaways from here is that this is a great, great opportunity for all of us.
We are back.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had good discussions. Due to paucity of time, we had to get everyone back to the main plenary hall. We'll forward the details to everyone, and we'll look forward to the continued discussion from here on. We'll forward everybody's contact details.
Would there be a website link that, you know, our panelists can go on and show their products or start a dialogue there directly?
What we'll do, Mrs. Patel, is that we'll e-connect all the participants, and from there on, you can directly take with respective participants.
Poonam, we have with us our DCM, Deputy Chief of Mission, Mrs. Ronnie Aditya Klein, talking to us from Delhi. Ronnie, why won't you open the mic and say hi?
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Some of you have already met before when you were visiting in Israel. It's already more than a year ago when you came with the Flow mission to Israel, and I moderated the session at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I'm very, very happy to be here and to see you all again, and to meet those of you who I didn't meet the last time, but it's a pleasure and a privilege for me to be here.
Ronnie, can I formally welcome you here? This is Harjinder Kaur Talwar, Chair of India-Israel.
Hi, Harjinder. So nice to see you.
Hello, how are you? So we should soon meet while you are in Delhi, and we should take this forward. I'm thankful to Anat for doing, this together. And of course, there's lots which can be done. And even for participants, Anat, Poonam, we will create a mail ID only for this discussion. At least this is to start with, and then we'll soon create a website which can be used for them to interact with each other. So I think we'll do that soon.
We'll do that. We've taken note of the same, and we'll follow this program with a formal creation of an email ID and thereafter a website.
Hi, my name is Deepa Sayal, and I represent a company called ADG Online and the Indian Women Institutionally. Thank you, Anat. There's a very insightful discussion we had on IT. We discussed different topics like sustainability, agri-tech, and IT, how it can collaborate. We also identified touch points on what should be our next call to action after this, and that we should create a strong follow-up. We did discuss about setting up innovation centers, process so that we can make this meaningful. Another pivotal agenda was that how we can take this particular forum, which is so powerful and so instrumental in women business empowerment. We thought that how we can carry it to the B and C category cities and make it a much larger movement. So I think in a nutshell, this is what we discussed. And I really hope that the 7 or 8 women or the 9 women, in fact, thank you so much, Ronnie, for joining in late. We talked about agri-tech. It was amazing. And thank you, Harjinder ji, for giving me this opportunity to moderate it. Lovely meeting all of you today.